Why is it that some people start acting like straight up assholes when they see you happy, they see you glowing, they see you shining? It's because your happiness and joy triggers their insecurity. And I cannot stand it when other people dim other people's glow because of their issues. And the reason why this is so triggering to me is because my mom used to do this to me. And it still haunts me because a few weeks ago, I had this dream, and I don't even know what the dream was about. But I woke up and I had this vivid memory of something that happened 8 years ago now. It was in 2017. And I haven't thought about this memory in a long time, but I had raging anxiety with this vivid memory. And this is what the memory is. So in 2017, I was living in Chicago and I was in the Second City sketch comedy writing program. And if you haven't heard of the Second City Chicago, basically it's a very well known, prestigious comedy school. Anyone you have ever seen on Saturday Night Live has been through the Second City training program. And I took the sketch comedy writing program in 2017. The whole thing is a year long. Anyone can take levels 1 through 4, and then you have to apply to be accepted into levels 5 and 6, where your class writes and produces a show that's performed on the Second City stage. So anyway, I was accepted into levels 5 and 6. So my class was writing a show, and we had a director assigned to us. And the director said everybody gets 1 to 2 scenes in the show. So some people may only get one, but some people would get two. And so at the end of the day, and part of it was the director's choice, but we also did vote on each other's scenes. And at the end of the day, when we had the final cut of what the show was, I had two of my scenes were in the show. And I was so excited and so proud of myself. And just to give you even a little bit more context, this was at a time in my life where I was terrified of allowing myself to be seen. I was just terrified to put myself out there. I just am not the person I am now. So the fact that I even got this far in the program was amazing, and it was so much fun, and I was so excited. And the next time I talked to my mom on the phone, I was so excited, and there is no way that she didn't realize that I was excited. And I told her that I had two scenes in the show, and her immediate reaction was, well, that's greedy. And she just had to take me down a notch, which was not a common thing. However, this situation, it hurt a little bit more than usual because this was so important to me, and she knew that. And I was so excited to tell her and share the news, and it just changed the whole vibe. And I remember even defending myself because I was like, everybody gets 1 to 2 scenes. Like, it wasn't that there was anything super special about my scenes. And it's also weird that she didn't look at it as, I'm exceptionally hilarious or gifted or whatever. Like, her reaction was just not loving or supportive at all. And again, that was nothing new. But my point to this story is not to criticize my mom. It's that I used to take these things, and not even just from her, I used to take them so personally. So, for example, in that situation, it was like, it's not safe to shine. It's not safe to be happy. Like, I need to take it down a notch so that other people feel comfortable. And that is how I used to live my life. And shocker, I had chronic anxiety. I was depressed. I was unhappy and unfulfilled because I was dimming my light to live for other people. And it took years of super hard inner work, but I have finally got to this place of I really don't give a shit what other people think of me, and I'm not dimming my light for someone else's insecurity. That being said, this wound obviously did not go away because 2 weeks ago, I woke up with that intense memory of that happening, and it hurt just as bad as it did 8 years ago. And I was talking to a friend about it because sometimes we need a mirror. And she was like, I think that means that even though you've done the healing work, you need to go back and heal that specific wound. And I was like, she's right. I'm so glad I brought this up to her. So last night I was journaling about it because I was like, okay, what would be a good way to feel through this and move on? So, what I came up with is that I decided to visit my 2017 self as me and have her tell me the news. So, instead of having this phone conversation with my mom, I was sitting right next to her and I was like, I want to hear the story. And first of all, because I love myself, I was so excited to hear this news. But not only that, my immediate reaction to myself was, of course they chose two scenes because you're hilarious and you're a good writer. And it was it did hurt for a second because it's like, why couldn't have my mom said that to me? But it's not about her. It's about how you show up for yourself, because other people will always be there to bring you down. And it's not about them. It's about how you respond to that and your core being of who you are. Because when you have a solid foundation and you can internally validate yourself, it doesn't matter what goes on around you. And I am telling you, I woke up this morning and the shift was immediate because I was like, yeah, my scenes actually were really good and I was really proud of them. And I wasn't able to bask in that pride in that moment because I felt a lot more shame than I did feeling happy for myself. But I actually was able to spend the morning being excited. Even though it's 8 years later, I was like, wow, those scenes actually were really creative and really fun. And another thing about one of my scenes, which is why it made it into the show, it was the closing scene. It ended with a flash mob marriage proposal. And the director, we only had 6 actors. So the director was like, well, if we have a flash mob dance, then the writers can be in the show too. So the reason that got in the show is because all the writers voted for it because they wanted to be in the show too, which was actually a really creative way for us to be on stage. So my point is, stop letting other people dim your light, because their issues are their issues and it has nothing to do with you. So keep following me because I am going to have so many more tips and tricks on how to shine from the inside. And also, starting next month, I'm going to start interviewing other people, and I have so many cool people lined up, and we're going to just start talking about the things that we don't normally talk about in life, because I think these are the conversations we really need to start hearing. So stay tuned for next week and shine till then.